Please be seated. As Vice-Chancellor, I have great pleasure in welcoming you all to today's award ceremony. I think you will agree that we couldn't really have a better place to celebrate the achievements of our graduands. This Assembly Rooms, it signifies the history and importance of the city of Bath, a major hub of social and cultural activity since the 18th century. Against such a backdrop, the University of Bath appears a relative newcomer, and yet it has, in its first 49 years, established itself not only as one of Britain's best universities, but as a major player in global higher education. There is now enormous competition to gain a place at the University of Bath, and those graduating today should feel a great sense of achievement. We are all proud of them. They have proven their ability and are worthy to call themselves graduates of the University of Bath. Bath sets unashamedly high standards of intellectual achievement and commitment. Having succeeded here is a sign of great potential. Our graduates often go on to great things in many spheres of activity. Whether embarking on new careers or progressing to leadership roles, today marks an important step in an exciting journey that will take them on paths many different ways in many different countries. Our hope is that what they have learned here will serve them well in all of their endeavours. You, our graduates, now join a community of more than 100,000 alumni across 164 countries around the world. I urge you all to stay in touch and use that network. Many of our alumni help each other and their student successors with advice and other support. This year, particularly as we go into the celebration of the 50th anniversary of the award of the Royal Charter, gives you a major opportunity to celebrate with us, no matter where you happen to be in 2016, and I hope that you will. As our graduates, you are our best ambassadors. Please do tell anyone who will listen how great the University of Bath is. This is not only a message to the graduates, by the way, it's to all of you. Just everybody, tell everybody else how great the University of Bath is. Got the idea? Good. Tell them, all of you, tell the world, that we have now been ranked the highest regarded university in all of Europe that is less than the age of 50 years. In fact, in the entire world, we are ranked number 7. It's not a bad achievement for a university of our scale. And I think that it's something we should shout about. But also shout about the fact that you can tell them that we are in the top dozen research universities in the UK. Tell them that through our research, we are seeking solutions to the greatest challenges facing humanity. Whether that is achieving integrity in financial and management practices, the scourge of dementia, the destruction of our environment, the roots of terrorism, and even the origins of the universe. We have research here at this university which is making progress in all of those directions. Tell them, this world out there, that our research excellence feeds the learning experience of all of our students. Tell them that as a result, our graduates can compete with the best that the world has to offer. I trust that you will do this. And I know that you, our graduates at least, I'm not sure about the rest of you, but our graduates will be persuasive because I know how good the graduates of this university are and how persuasive they can be. I will finish by saying thank you to all those who have supported our graduates during their time here at Bath. Our faculty, of course, but most particularly the family and friends of our graduates, without whom they would not have been able to excel. I think they all deserve our appreciation. I want to wish all our graduates well in their futures. We look forward to hearing of you and from you for many years to come. My final and most pleasing duty is to commend the Honorary Graduand, Mr. Lawrie McMenemy, MBE, who will be accepting the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws today. This is in recognition of his outstanding contribution to leadership in sport, the Special Olympics, and to his charitable work on behalf of young children. Thank you all. So now, by my authority as Vice-Chancellor, I declare this congregation open for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.
Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded taught degrees within the Department of Economics. Will the graduates please rise?
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon each of you a degree of the University of Bath with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the graduates please be seated? Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Vice-Chancellor and to receive their certificates? Bachelor of Science in Economics, Edward Charles Gunby. Omar Rizvi. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Science. Master of Science in Economics, Anisha Beveridge. Sophia Coleman. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our normal practice on these occasions to clap at the end of each group of students. If you would take your lead from the platform, please, that will make our ceremony of a manageable length today. Thank you. Yoshihiro Ikeda. Mikhail Salen. Sebastian Symington. Simone Traini. Master of Science in Economics and Finance, Mojisola Uluwabus Aseo Adeniyi. Per Inge Alverstein. James Bentley. Lin Chung. Yining Miao. Robert James Purdue. Apurv Singh. Wei Wei Sung. Chalavat Siritongal. Ching Wang. Yaji Ye Shu. Anchi Jung. Master of Science in International Money and Banking, Zhuojing Xin. The Vice-Chancellor. I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded research degrees within the Department of Economics. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. N.N. Tarun Chakravarti.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Elvis Masango Maleka.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded taught degrees within the Department for Health. Will the graduates please rise?
By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon each of you a degree of the University of Bath with all the rights, privileges and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the graduates please be seated? Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the Foundation Degree in Science. Will the graduates please come forward to be presented to the Vice-Chancellor and to receive their certificates? Foundation Degree in Science in Addictions Counselling, Victoria Cooper. Martina Mabinti Dumbuya. David John Gabriel. James Lee Hanson. Christopher George Holmes. Maya Lindner. Jeffrey Charles Lum. Gonzalo Sanchez. Nicole Sarsons. Michael Williams. Vice-Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Arts. Bachelor of Arts in Sport and Social Sciences, Duncan McGregor. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science. Bachelor of Science in Addictions Counselling, Martha Bash. Lorraine Castro. Anna Rachel Elston. Nicole Tamsin Grillo. Christine Ann Harrison. Bachelor of Science in Sport Coaching, Harry Austin Hardy. Alexander Evans. Poppy Elizabeth Gates. Joshua Hoare. Daniel Jackson. Jamie Leon Phillip. Matthew James Puddy. Tim Weeks. Bachelor of Science in Sport, Health and Fitness, John Saltram Childs. Francesca Glynn. Vice-Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been awarded the degree of Master of Research. Master of Research in Health and Wellbeing, Harriet Amy Carroll. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Science. Master of Science in Sport and Exercise Medicine, Parjit Singh Dillon. Daniel Pierre Francis Edmonds. Deirdre Galbraith. Master of Science in Sports Physiotherapy, Andrew James Kelly. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded research degrees within the Department for Health. Doctor of Health, Lisa Marie Austin.
The degree of Doctor of Health.
Eileen O'Leary.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Health. Well done.
Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded taught degrees within the Department of Psychology. Will the graduates please rise?
By the authority vested in me, I confer upon each of you a degree of the University of Bath, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.
Will the graduates please be seated? Vice-Chancellor, I present a graduate who has been awarded the degree of Bachelor of Science. Will the graduate please come forward to be presented to the Vice-Chancellor and to receive her certificate? Bachelor of Science in Psychology, Natasha Louise Burns. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Research. Master of Research in Environment, Energy and Resilience, Niall Christian McLaughlin. Master of Research in Psychology, Hannah Buck. Matthew Robert Lomas. Birgit Ellie Marguerite Oyer. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Master of Science. Master of Science in Health Psychology, Heather Allward. Coralia Bentivoglio. Harshita Bora. Andrea Monica Chavez Cornejo. Georgia Christou. Ellen Cecilia Coghlan. Rebecca Joanne Crabtree. Michael Daly. Charlotte Folds. Madeline Freeman. Samantha Maria Gare. Elaine Genovese. Laura Mary Howells. Sarah Catherine McEwen Keegan. Kiara Jordan Maloney. Laura Medina Perucha. Marissa Ayano Mess. Natalie Ann Mitchell. Claire Victoria Partridge. Genevieve Carty. Elizabeth Shields. Amber Claire Smith. Meron Tefera. Sarah Alexandra Thomas. Ivy Walsh. Sian Zena Williamson. Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates in the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences who have been awarded research degrees within the Department of Psychology. Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Robert Chandler.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology. Well done.
Rosanna Chapman.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Kate Cooper.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Felicity Ann Cowdery.
I confer upon you the degree of Clinical Psychology. Doctor of Clinical. Say again, I'm going to do that again. I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology. Now, don't you forget
Sian Dallimore.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Vera Christina Fixter.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Emily Garner.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology. Well done.
Anna Eva Grodoziedge.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Charlotte Elizabeth Hazeldine.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Sinead Lamb.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Sarah Rossbridge.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Sasha Walters.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Flora Charlotte Louisa Wilson.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Clinical Psychology.
Vice-Chancellor, I present graduates who have been awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Joanne Sarah Black.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Maria Nicoloudou.
I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. I call upon the University Orator to present a candidate for the degree Honoris Causa.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am delivering this oration today on behalf of Professor Ian Butler, who is unfortunately not able to be present. Vice-Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you and the congregation Lawrie McMenemy, who was one of the most successful managers in post-war English football. He was born into a large family in Gateshead, County Durham, and started to play his football on the cobbled streets of the avenues before graduating to the park at the end of the road to play with the older boys. He passed his 11 plus and attended St Cuthbert's Grammar School in Newcastle. While doing his national service in the Coldstream Guards, he suffered an injury that ended his ambitions to be a professional footballer with Newcastle United. Instead, once out of the army, he worked in the education department of the local authority whilst playing his football with Gateshead. He started coaching at Gladstone Terrace Youth Club and from there in 1961 became trainer-coach at Gateshead. In 1964, he was appointed manager of Bishop Auckland and transformed them from a struggling side into Northern League champions. He then moved to Sheffield Wednesday as a coach before landing his big break as manager of Doncaster Rovers, where he remained until May 1971 when he became manager of Grimsby Town, winning divisional championships at both clubs. In 1973, he became manager of Southampton. Whilst at Grimsby, Lawrie took his players to the docks to see the working lives of those who paid his players' wages at the turnstiles to remind them of how privileged they were to be professional footballers. He took his deep sense of civic and moral obligations to Southampton and insisted his players played their part in the local community. Professor Butler was a direct beneficiary of this, as the University Football Club, for which he played, was coached by Southampton first-team players. Professor Butler used to watch the Saints, without paying, from the balcony of Overdell Court, a university hall of residence, during some of the best years of Lawrie's time at Southampton, including in 1976, when the club achieved its highest ever league position and beat Manchester United in the FA Cup. No doubt Lawrie remembers Jack Charlton's prediction of a 6-0 win for Manchester United on that day. Lawrie left Southampton in 1986 to join Sunderland, and in 1990 he became England's assistant manager. In 1993, Lawrie returned to Southampton in a new position as director of football and remained with the club until 1998, when he was appointed manager of Northern Ireland. Lawrie retired from managing in 2000 and since then has concentrated on his role as FA Special Ambassador. In 2004, he became chairman of the Special Olympics, the country's largest provider of year-round sports training and competition programs for children and adults with learning disabilities. He is now the organisation's president, and in that role, we as a university are very pleased to work with him. The University of Bath provided the main venue for the Bath 2013 Special Olympics GB National Summer Games, hosting 9 of the 12 participating sports. Lawrie is involved with several charities in Hampshire, where he lives, and at a national level. He is a patron of the Alzheimer's Disease Association and works with SCOPE, the NSPCC, and the National Autistic Society. He is also on the committee of Outward Bound and a trustee of the Peter Osgood Trust, which works with underprivileged children through sport. This is the biography of a man who is held in great affection by those who know him, who recognises his civic and moral obligations, a leader who can make the best out of the circumstances in which he finds himself and who can bring out the best in others, someone who leads by example and someone who has achieved exceptional success. Vice-Chancellor, I present to you Lawrie McMenemy, who is eminently worthy to receive the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
They want to clap you. By virtue of the authority vested in me, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Lawrie.
Thank you. Well, that's the best autograph I've ever signed. As Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour and a privilege for me to be here today. Also, I've heard so many different accents and seen so many people from around the world. I can understand why they picked me, because I've got a posh voice. I was born in Gateshead, which is a small Caribbean-type town up in the northeast. Seriously, normally this sort of award is given to someone because of their great achievements. Whilst I'm very proud of being in a small group of managers who completed over 1,000 games, didn't win them all, mind, but I think people like Mr. Van Gaal will be happy to join that band eventually. After last night, I'm not sure he will, but never mind. The fact is that whilst it's good to have a record like that and be able to talk to many youngsters of most of your ages when they're coming into a new facility and a new job, I think really I'm here today to receive this fantastic award on behalf of a group of people. You may remember that 2 years ago, Special Olympics British Summer Games were held here in Bath. Now I say Bath, you might say Bath. And I would challenge you to say Southampton. It's Southampton, so it's Bath. Thank you. And the games were held here, and they were fantastic. There was 12 events, and 9 of the events were held on the campus here. I'll tell you a little story about Special Olympics. I got asked to go along in 2003 to Dublin, to the opening of the World Games. I hadn't got a clue. I thought it was Paralympics. I didn't realize there was 3 Olympics. And I don't know if you know, there's only 2 of them allowed to use the word Olympics. The reason Special Olympics got it, I think, was because it was started by a member of the Kennedy family, who had a bit to say in America, a bit of influence. One of the daughters, Rosemary, spent her life at a home. Her sister, Eunice, decided to have sports days for children like her sister. She started having games, then realized that around the world, a lot of countries needed recognizing that there was children like this, and she started having world games. She had 10 of them in America. Decided for the first time to come out of America, and being a Kennedy, she came to Ireland, Dublin. I went there on the Saturday night for the opening. There was a meal on. They said, will the ambassadors go along the corridor and wait for your team coming in? I went along there, I was in the room, the door opened, and a fella came in called Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think you might have heard of him. He's not that tall, mind, but he's quite strong. Anyway, why was he there? Because he was governor of California at the time, and he was married to Eunice Kennedy, who would become Eunice Shriver. He was married to her daughter. He went out with Austria, because he was born there. He went around, he brought the team in. The crowd, you can imagine, 80,000 people in Croke Park. 7,000 athletes from 162 countries. I went out with GB. The last team to come in was USA, 1,000 athletes. Their ambassador was in a golf buggy. It was a fellow called Muhammad Ali. Imagine the reception. All the athletes sat on seats facing the stage. The Irish put on a great show. They'd waited 3 years. They asked for volunteers. 35,000 people volunteered. They put a concert on. Ronan Keating, Samantha Mumba, River Dance, the biggest they've ever done. 2 rows of 50. Top of the bill, U2. Some bloke called Bonio, whatever they call him. He got up in the middle of a song and he went off and he came back on with Eunice Shriver and a fellow called Nelson Mandela. And they opened the games, and that was televised all around the world, but not in Britain. Not in Britain. And I couldn't believe it. I stayed on and I coached football for a week. Then I realized that in between, 2 years later, the British Games were in Glasgow and the World Games were on in Shanghai. It was such a success in Dublin. Off she went to Shanghai. Fantastic. 2 years on, British Games in Leicester. Leicester Football Club, 30,000 in. A lad and a lass welcomed us. The girl was Down syndrome. The lad was autistic. His family told me afterwards they couldn't get him out the house for years and years, and somebody dragged him out to play basketball. And there he was making a speech to 30,000 people. He now does local radio, and he is on television once a month. That's what sport does. That's what games does. It brings people out. It brings families together. And I'm proud to be associated with them. And Bath did a fantastic job. You held 9 of the 12 events. In the World Games, there's 24 events. In the British Games, 12. 9 of them were here, and it was such a success. And I think in the future, we'll be back. There's a great relationship. I hope that there's European Games and everything held here. Also, the effect it's had on this whole area, Bristol and everywhere, have started having groups of parents with children like that. Already, the next British Games are in 2 years, 18 months' time at Sheffield, and 200 athletes are coming from this area already. So if you're still around and you want to get involved, which you should do in some time in charities, volunteer, and it'll open your eyes. It'll open your eyes to a different world. I know I haven't got a lot of time. I could go on forever. But if I can just say, the local paper here, after the Games, said, remembering a magical summer when athletes' courage won the hearts of a city. The Down syndrome and autistic children have a saying, let me win. If I can't win, let me be brave in the attempt. Now, another thing I would say for you to remember, if you believe, you can achieve. Now, you have already achieved. You've achieved something. It's taken some of you 4 years, some of you more. It's probably took me 44 years to get here, but never mind. Don't think it's the end. It's only the beginning. It's only the beginning. Let me tell you something which is going to make everybody cringe. I'm old enough to say and not bother, because in an hour's time I'll be on the train going home. I signed a young player. I used to sign lots of children from school age, 14, 15-year-old. You might have heard of some of them. Alan Shearer, Rodney Wallace, his brothers, and Matthew Letizier, who's well known. He's on television now. He was a natural gifted footballer. And when he arrived, there was another young lad at the same time who was more gifted, more natural. As the months went by, when they were full-time, I kept looking at them. Letizier was getting better. The other lad wasn't. The longer it went, the better Letizia got, the worse the other lad got. And I got the staff together and I said, why? And you know why? We found he was taking drugs. Drugs. And I'm telling you now, you will either have already come across it or you will come across it. And I'm telling you now, it might be good in the short term. In the long term, it'll kill your career. It'll ruin everything you've worked at for all of these years. Please listen to the silly old fella that's talking now, right? On the other hand, there's a lot of people from abroad who haven't got a clue what I'm on about. But Special Olympics is in every country in the world. If you can understand that, please look it up when you go home. And I'll finish by asking all of you to thank these very well-educated people behind who are looking at you now saying, thank God we won't see them in September. So please, will you give them a round of applause? And finally, I assume everybody here is part of a family. I remember my highest educational achievement was passing the 11 plus. Passing the 11 plus, and how proud my family were of me. But I also remember the hard work they went through to help me get a uniform even. Now imagine the work and the sacrifices all of these people have made for you. And never ever forget it. And when you start making a few, Bob, try and repay them. In the meantime, a round of applause for the family will do. Family behind you is the greatest thing you can have. I personally have been blessed with having a fantastic family, thanks to a wonderful lady there, who my wife, would you believe, this year, of 55 years. Unsung hero, stays in the background, always there when necessary, and I love you and appreciate that. Please, I would thank you, Vice-Chancellor, for the fantastic honour you've given me today, and on behalf of all the Special Olympics, thank you so much. Thank you.
On that rousing note, it's my responsibility now to close this congregation. Before I do so, can I just wish you all a really wonderful Christmas and a very happy 2016. So, I declare this congregation closed for the presentation of graduates and for the conferment of honorary degrees.